Hi there. I'm glad you could join us today and share a little bit about your story of why you're a Baha'i and how you became a Baha'i. But to begin with, can you tell us your name and where you're from and maybe how long you've been a Baha'i?
Yeah, my name is Dawn Vincent Dumas. I live in Ames, Iowa currently, although I've lived many places. Um, and I became a Baha'i in 1987, which is a while ago. um, I was 20 when I became a Baha'i, and I kind of didn't want to become a Baha'i.
Okay,
I wanted to hang out with the Baha'is. I wanted to learn about the way Baha'is live and I wanted to study the Baha'i books and say the Baha'i prayers. But half of my family were Baha'is and the other half were not.
okay.
And it felt really a lot like taking sides. And and I didn't want to take sides. I wanted to walk the middle lane. I wanted to
Sure.
straddle the fence, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't work out. It didn't
Okay.
make me happy. Um, it made me conflicted and uncomfortable. And I thought it was a good place to be, but it turned out to be maybe good place for everyone except me. And so I decided kind of out of desperation that I would become a Baha'i. Um, and weirdly enough, nothing changed.
How so?
I I just the I I expected something.
Oh,
I expected to feel different or um to I don't know, uh, a sign from God, something dramatic.
this is
I
strong
didn't.
confirmations.
Something,
Yeah.
anything. I got nothing.
Hmm.
Um, but it was more right than trying to sit on the fence. So I continued to learn and study, and I was able to, within the first year, I was able to go on a year of service. And that was very useful to me
Mm.
because even though I had been around Baha'is and I didn't have a very deep understanding of really what the Baha'i Faith was until I went on a year of service, and I went
Where was
to
that?
that was at Maxwell International Baha'i School in, Canada on Vancouver Island.
Oh,
The school is no longer a Baha'i school, it has been sold, so it's still a private school and the campus is still there, but it is no longer a Baha'i school. Um, it was a great place for many, maybe even most of the students and staff. And it helped me personally understand not just the writings and the prayers and the priorities, but the rhythm of being a Baha'i.
okay. What type of
The
service did you do at Maxwell?
hmm, um, I did a lot of things. I worked in the gardens. I spent Saturdays at the in the front office. I answered the phones. I did some cleaning work. I assisted with study halls with the students. I monitored their computer lab for the students. I helped with PE class.
Wow, diversity of things.
Yeah, I did a lot of things, and it actually was I was happy with that because it kept me from being bored with just one thing. So,
Yeah. And so you said you deepened more as a Baha'i, or they got more of a custom of the rhythm of being a Baha'i?
yeah, um, the 19-day feasts, once every 19 days, having, a regular worship service, having the holy days, the whole almost anyone and everyone who was 15 years and older fasted. Not everyone, but nearly everyone fasted, during the 19-day fast, and, the holy days were celebrated as holy days, so it was for the entire community, the whole school, staff and students alike, um, were participants in the holy days and the different trips that might have, um, been arranged, things like that. It was a it was a Baha'i rhythm, in the regular world away from a Baha'i institution. We're on the Gregorian calendar, the Gregorian rhythm,
Sure.
which is how we live our lives by that rhythm. But to be at a Baha'i institution, maybe others have experienced it's a different rhythm, and it felt different, and it was nice for me.
If I understood correctly, you said part of your family was Baha'i and part not Baha'i. So did you learn
That's
about the Baha'i faith from your immediate family members, or
I
did you
did,
learn
yeah.
about the Baha'i faith from other people?
I mostly learned my initial introduction was from my sisters. Um, it wasn't an open topic of conversation in the family because most of my brothers did not, nor did my parents really want to talk about it. Um, so I would learn more one-on-one with them. Um, and I spent the first 2 years out of high school, I moved to live with my sister and her family, in Kansas. So while I was there, they are Baha'is, and their life was, um, a blend of, the Gregorian calendar rhythm and the Baha'i rhythm. Um, and I was fully invited to all events and all things, and I got to live and see and participate in lots of things
Okay.
as
And what struck you about the Baha'i faith that intrigued you, or made you want to follow that faith?
so I really loved the Baha'is. I really loved the people that I met and how easy it was to be around the Baha'is and to just be myself. I also was I was a young adult, and I spent most of my social time with, people who were older than me, the Baha'is who were young married couples with children mostly. And um, like I felt like it was interesting how it didn't feel odd or awkward. It felt good and fine and normal and not awkward for me to just be friends with these people who were at a different life stage than me.
Okay.
Um, and I, of course, found the teachings to be, attractive, but kind of normal. There wasn't anything really that sounded so new and different, with one exception for me, and that was the harmony of science and religion.
Hmm.
That was a big deal to me. I didn't I had never yet heard previous to talking to the Baha'is from talking to the Baha'is that science and religion could agree and can agree and does agree.
Okay.
We just haven't quite figured that out yet, how they agree.
Yeah.
But we figure it out more and more as time goes on. I mean, since those first years that I started understanding that they do agree, I have learned, oh, look, here's another way. Um, so that was really big. I already, of course, believed in the oneness of humanity, and the idea of the oneness of religion wasn't a big stretch, you
Okay.
know. Um, I'm blanking. What's the third oneness? Where are we? Humanity, religion, and
Equality of men and women.
yeah, that was easy,
Okay.
you know. I don't have any objections there. It just seems obvious. So the big one for me was the harmony of science and religion. That
Okay.
so
All right. And you sounds like you learned about the Baha'i faith early
mhm,
and have been a Baha'i ever since.
yeah.
And being a Baha'i has its challenges, I'm sure. So, can you tell us a little bit about why you're still a Baha'i?
I am still a Baha'i because, well, after I spent more time as a Baha'i and b- m- brought my understanding from the level of thought to the level of heart, I realized that I believed who Baha'u'llah is, who he says he is. And what does that mean? What are the implications for action? What does that mean for me? And I have to remind myself every day, I believe Baha'u'llah is who he says he is. And I have to pray that I remain firm. And I can't say with any truthfulness that I haven't wondered and questioned and asked myself, really? Do I really believe this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too.
And I do with more and more certainty as time goes on. Now, again, that doesn't mean I don't have moments where I go, still?
Yeah.
But then if I really look at myself and really look at my heart, I find that I still believe more than ever. And I've had experiences that could only be attributed to being a Baha'i that I value. Um, that there's no chance I would have had those experiences given where I grew up, when I grew up, how I grew up. I mean, there's no way. It's it feels like a gift. Just simply being a Baha'i opened the world of possibilities to me, and I'm so grateful.
Wow. Me too. I'm grateful you're a Baha'i and I got to know you through summer schools and through family and friends and I really appreciate you sharing some of your story with us and taking the time to tell us why you're a Baha'i.
Hmm. Thank you for inviting me. I do appreciate it. it's always fun to share with people.
I agree. Well, thank you very much. You have a good night.